My name is John McKeon, and I'm the moderator of the Teradata Aprimo River community, Teradata and Aprimo's largest customer community. You can connect with us at teradataRiver2.com. Today, we'd like to welcome Banafsheh Ghassemi and also Dave Sutton from Top Right. Banafsheh is the VP of Marketing for eCRM and Customer Experience at the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross helps roughly 70,000 disasters around the world, 500,000 volunteers, 3,500 employees, 9 million people around the world. So it's a big organization, complex, and a lot of data. Both of you, welcome to the river today.
Thank you.
Banafsheh is presenting at this year's Partners Conference on building an integrated marketing platform in the American Red Cross. Very interesting story, a classic story of really trying to grab a very fragmented data environment and bring it into consolidation, re-engineer it, reinvent it. And Banafsheh, I'll start with you. Give us a take on how the journey started from fragmentation to consolidation.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So first of all, I think it's important to note that the concept of marketing in an organization that is marketing is a pretty new function at the American Red Cross. In fact, it's about just over a 3-year-old function. And I came into Red Cross just about a year after it started. Shortly after it was created, and when I joined, our CEO, Gail McGovern, laid out a very ambitious vision for marketing, specifically for my boss, our CMO, Peggy Dyer. She was looking for a vision that is a consolidated, powerful, and breathtaking marketing. At a time, we called it the big, hairy, audacious goal because at that time, we had marketing activities happening in 700 plus chapters and 5 lines of business, and all of them were happening in their own silos. So it had already failed the consolidated vision, and any effort that's that fragmented easily fails both the standards of powerful and breathtaking. So in the last year and a half, we've been experiencing a very major transformation in support of that vision. That has been really the consolidation of our marketing programs and marketing activities such that they would, in fact, deliver on that powerful and breathtaking ambition that was laid out for us. So, and to deliver the powerful and breathtaking, we had to allow, or I would say better yet, enable our marketers to focus on the left brain and the right brain aspects of a marketer's role. They had to be creative, they had to be analytic and scientific about what they were doing. So it also meant that we had to free them up from the very mundane administrative tasks that they were burdened with. So here we are facing this goal of 700. This goal in it, we have 700 plus fragmented processes out there, and that's not even counting what goes on within the newly formed marketing itself. And we sort of had to take on that challenge. We knew that to get there, we had to re-engineer our processes. And in most cases, what we found out was that we actually had to invent them from scratch. And this is where a marketing automation platform such as Aprimo came into play and we figured could help us. And not really because, we started looking at automation for the sake of automation, or we thought it was that silver bullet that we were missing, but because, I personally feel these types of platforms are sort of like a mirror in front of a function, in front of an organization where you have an opportunity to actually reflect on how you do your business and whether it makes sense. And through that process, identify your gaps, rethink how you do business. And a lot of these platforms are built in a way that are based on thousands, hundreds and thousands of best practices. So this automation we could leverage by really leveraging some of the best practices that was built into it. So instead of trying to make it sort of replicate our processes, we try to adapt ourselves into the best practices that it offered. And now we've rolled out the marketing resource management components of Aprimo, which brings a lot of efficiencies and visibility into our activities, and we're going to embark on the next phase pretty soon.
Dave, a quick question to you. Banafsheh talked about the powerful vision. What about getting the power out of the data assets? How do you do that when you have 100 databases?
Well, that's been, that's kind of the next phase that Banafsheh was just referring to. We're now moving into a phase where we've got the basic workflow capabilities in place that have been provided by Aprimo. But now we're facing the fragmentation associated with both existing data assets that need to be integrated and used by the marketing function across the breadth of geographic locations that Banafsheh was pointing to. But we're also finding that obviously there are needs for more advanced tools, more advanced analytic capabilities, reporting, querying, and assessment tools that we're looking to Aprimo and ultimately Teradata as well to provide to us. So we feel like we're just at the beginning of that part of the journey in terms of rationalizing access to data across a fairly complex organization, and then bringing in the associated tools so we can do a better job as marketers of really reaching and creating that breathtaking marketing that Gail McGovern had challenged us to achieve.
Banafsheh, you can consolidate databases, but if you don't have quality, if you don't have the tools to consume the data, it's not going to work. What are you doing about quality? What are you doing about making the data consumable?
Excellent question. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say, right? And so we're very, very conscious of that. And when you have that much fragmentation, you really don't have, when you go in, you don't really have a good sense of what you're going to face in terms of data quality. There are some, in our system, some chapters have pretty robust systems and pretty robust processes to make sure they have data integrity, and some chapters that are more constrained in the resources, they probably won't. So that will be our job to figure out what are our priority objectives, number one, in terms of the use of this data. What is our intent? What do we want to get out of this data? Establish those standards for quality, establish and even data structures, and then implement. There are plenty of tools and facilities out there these days that help you with in maintaining those the quality of data. For example, we are looking at LexisNexis as one of the solutions out there for us to clean up this data and link them together, because as I said, the fragmentation also, we got different lines of business. We want to make sure that John Smith that donated blood to us is the same John Smith that gave us $1,000 last month, and we want to make sure we provide those linkages. So we're definitely, as a part of this greater vision, we are implementing some of those data quality facilities that are out there.
Implementing this incredible vision would be so easy if it wasn't for those darn people. So what about change management? How, I'll ask this question to Dave, and then Banafsheh, you can answer it as well. How are you doing the change management piece of this incredible vision?
Well, I think it all began, obviously the vision that Gail laid out, which has obviously been cascading through the organization, was a great magnet, if you will, to kind of draw associates, draw employees to that vision. And I think getting that straight, having a very clear vision and having some executive alignment around what needs to get done is certainly I would say a precursor to any successful kind of massive change program. But we also did some things that I think were really kind of breakthrough, quite frankly, as it relates to enrolling people and getting them engaged and getting them involved and owning some of this. As Banafsheh pointed out, a lot of the areas didn't even have process, so we were inventing new process. In some cases, they had to kind of stop doing things a certain way and begin thinking about their function or their role in a different way. And so it was very important to really create a sense of ownership and what we called process champions, people who were really, the go-to person, for example, in their area when it came to workflow, when it came to the Aprimo application, and really leading by example within their function. And again, having that be the current team as opposed to consultants or others from the outside was really a critical success factor for us.
Banafsheh, what's your take on the change management piece?
Yeah, I would add to, instead of saying those darn people, those incredible assets people. In my experience, I've rolled out systems like this many, many times. And like Dave said, I think that top management endorsement is key. That's the first step. You have to have the vision laid out, and you have to have the investment behind it. Put your money where your mouth is, essentially, is the expression. But after that, I think where you really get change management is to make the effort as grassroots as you possibly can. In fact, Dave and I and our teams were very conscious of the fact that we did not want it to be the faces of this project, and we wanted our process champions to be the faces of this project. So they were the ones who delivered we educated in the benefits of the platform. We were very clear that this was for them, it was for their benefit, and we articulated those benefits from the get-go. They bought into it, and then they became the messengers of it. And from this point on, they are the messengers, and they are the go-to people for their respective teams to make sure that this system will continue to evolve as our business evolves. So they've been our assets more than anything, and it's been an incredible journey just to see the enthusiasm in them for having this tool and considering it as a very cherished, part of their toolkit that they come to every day.
Banafsheh Ghassemi and David Sutton. It should be a great presentation of the Partners Conference. Everybody wants to do what they're doing. It should be a really insightful presentation. Look forward to seeing it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.